Today, the horror community is in shock. Actor Jonathan Tiersten, best known for playing Ricky Thomas in the 1983 cult slasher Sleepaway Camp, has died at the age of 60. Reports from outlets including TMZ and the Daily Beast confirm his death, with his brother William Tiersten telling TMZ that Jonathan passed away last week at his home in New Jersey, and that the medical examiner is still investigating the cause of death. There's no official public ruling yet on exactly how he died, and no confirmed evidence of foul play or criminal involvement has been reported. This is a look at his life, his legacy in horror, and the impact of his passing on the cult film world. Jonathan Tiersten was born on August 11, 1965, in New York City. Growing up, he was involved in theater and musicals, and he later studied acting at New York University Circle in the Square Theater School, where he trained alongside actors who would go on to become well-known in television and film. By the early 1980s, he was already working in regional theater and building the kind of grounded, expressive style that would fit a blunt street-smart character like Ricky. His second on-screen credit was the role that would define his career, Ricky Thomas in Sleepaway Camp. In 1983, Sleepaway Camp was released as a low-budget slasher film written and directed by Robert Hiltzik. The movie centers on a summer camp massacre, and Jonathan played Ricky Thomas, the sharp-tongued, protective cousin of Angela Baker, played by Felissa Rose. The film's infamous twist ending is still debated today in horror circles, and Ricky's sarcastic, unaffected demeanor made him the every-fan lens through which audiences reacted to the camp's horror. Though the movie initially had a modest release, it went on to become a cult classic, with late-night VHS runs, midnight screenings, and a devoted fan base that has kept the film alive for decades. Then, Jonathan reprised the role more than 25 years later in returned to Sleepaway Camp in 2008. Jonathan stepped right back into Ricky's shoes for a direct sequel that brought the original cast's legacy forward for a new generation. After Sleepaway Camp, Jonathan did not disappear from the industry, but his path shifted. He appeared in a number of smaller projects, including TV after-school special-style dramas in the mid-1980s, which were more mainstream and family-oriented than the horror genre that made him famous. By the 2000s, his career saw a second life in independent film, where he returned to acting and began contributing behind the scenes as well. He starred as the lead in The Perfect House, 2011, a psychological thriller in which he played a serial killer-type character, earning festival recognition, including multiple Best Actor awards at independent film festivals for that role. He also appeared in other low-budget horror-adjacent projects such as Terror Tales, Time's Up, and Toilet Zombie Baby Strikes Back, staying within the niche of micro-budget and indie horror production. Throughout this period, he was known in the indie horror community as a passionate, hands-on performer who cared deeply about the craft. Beyond acting, Jonathan Tiersten was also a musician. He performed under the name Jonathan Tiersten and with his band 10 Tears, releasing music that blended rock, pop, and melodic singer-songwriter material. His musical work expanded into film too. He contributed as a soundtrack singer and composer for several projects, helping shape the mood of smaller films from the inside rather than just as an on-screen name. Fan interviews and profiles describe him as someone who treated his creative work holistically, an actor, a singer, and a composer who often took pride in the entire production, not just his individual role. He also worked behind the camera in various roles, including in production and music-related positions, which helped keep him connected to the entertainment world even when he wasn't in front of the camera. In the past 48 hours, horror outlets and entertainment sites began reporting that Jonathan Tiersten had died at 60. TMZ and others state that his brother, William Tiersten, confirmed his death and said it occurred at Jonathan's home in New Jersey, with the medical examiner still investigating the cause. There is no public indication that police have announced foul play or criminal wrongdoing. Coverage frames this as a sudden, tragic death currently under medical examiner review. As of now, neither the family nor officials have released a detailed cause of death, so any speculation about drugs, illness, or accident should be treated as rumor, not fact. Major outlets focus instead on his legacy as Ricky from Sleepaway Camp, his work in indie horror, and the emotional impact of his passing on longtime fans. Jonathan Tiersten's legacy is built on one very specific role turned universal. Ricky Thomas is the voice of the fan who watches the movie and thinks, "If I were there, I'd be the one calling everyone out." That everyman energy is why decades later horror fans still quote Ricky, still cosplay as him, and still treat Sleepaway Camp as a shared ritual of discovery. He also matters in the indie horror world as proof that a cult film actor can have second career, not just as a guest speaker at conventions, but as a working performer and musician well into adulthood. His awards for The Perfect House show that the same intensity he brought to Ricky translated into serious, character-driven roles beyond the 1980s slasher format. Beyond film, his music and songwriting add another layer to his legacy. An artist who never stopped creating, even when audiences mainly recognized him as one character from one summer camp movie. Today, we remember Jonathan Tiersten not just as Ricky from Sleepaway Camp, but as a New York-born actor, a musician, and a longtime collaborator in the indie horror space. His death is sudden. His absence will be felt especially sharply by fans who grew up with Sleepaway Camp on late-night TV, worn-out VHS tapes, and later, streaming-era deep-cut horror marathons. There's no complete obituary-style release of private details yet, so we should resist inventing backstories about his personal life, health, or relationships. What we can say for sure is this: Jonathan Tiersten, August 11th, 1965, May 2026, helped shape a cult horror classic, stayed creatively active for decades, and treated his fans with appreciation and humor. Gone too soon, but for horror fans around the world, never entirely gone. Rest in paradise, Jonathan Tiersten.
Okay, if there's a way I could hate this camera angle more, I'm not sure I could quite figure it out. Hold on, I gotta put on my therapeutic flip-flops. Anyway, oh gosh. I'm gonna start this with, well, you know, because, my friend Ken says that I say that all the time, and I should be honest about what that actually means, because it generally means that I know, and I've researched it to death, and I'm going to give you history, statistics, everything that I know about whatever I'm saying that you know. So it is a weird thing to say, I guess. But where was I? Oh, how to pick up girls. This is not specific. Nowadays, it's, could be girls on girls, whatever. But, what does a girl, I'm just talking from a cis man perspective, what does a girl really want, when, you meet her? She wants to know that you find her intelligent, like her words matter. She wants to find you attractive. She wants that, maybe, what's that thing? You shut up when she talks and respect her viewpoint on things, even when you, I guess, disagree. What she doesn't want, guys, and you gotta fucking get this through your heads, or women, she doesn't want to know you think that she's hot. She knows. You wouldn't be talking to her if she wasn't attractive, and that's okay. So I tried the method where you just walk straight up, right? And you look at her and you say, I find you extremely intelligent. I think your life matters. I would like to take you home and watch a Lifetime movie with you. Now, the Lifetime movie gives her pause, because up until that point, she's thinking about calling the police. But it's her guilty pleasure, so she's like, Lifetime movie, that wouldn't be the worst thing. I've seen 74 of the Christmas films. And here's the thing, it's your guilty pleasure too. So, I must admit, that tactics never worked for me. You'd be better off with walking up to somebody and saying, hey, you want to bounce around naked? actually done that a couple times. But I can't help but think maybe one time some guy is going to be able to pull that off.
If you are a fan of Sleepaway Camp, or if you like this video, please throw me a thumb. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see y'all in the next one.